Gentlemen, American Jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to the Bulldog Show. As always, we're sponsored by Deters Law, Parks Yoga, and check us out on all of our platforms. Well, the top story, the classified documents. The FBI is searching Joe Biden's beach house in Delaware. The question is, did the Biden lawyers go in first? I mean, it's amazing how this is all gone. I mean, do you believe the FBI is doing a real unannounced search of Biden's beach house? Hell no, it isn't happening. But it's fun that it is happening. Biden is why they come. The illegal aliens, the sheriffs testified to congressional committee, says, hey, they're all saying, hey, we're coming because of Joe Biden, the political gangster himself. I'm telling you, America hangs in the balance. You take all that's going on. You take the national debt. You take the immigration issue. You take everything. Our weakness with China, Russia. We are not automatic to survive. Ron Klain, the chief of staff, resigned and cried. Says he looks forward to being next to Joe Biden in 2024 when he runs. Get the hell out of here. You screwed up the country. Laptop is mine. Oh, man, his laptop could be mine. Well, now he admits the laptop is his. He admits it. The laptop is his. And you ready for the defense? His big defense team says, you need to look into Bannon and Trump for how they tried to peddle this information. Do you believe it? Hunter's defense, it's Trump. 205 Democrats voted against the swamp going back to work. Do you believe that? 45% of federal workers are working at home. What a freaking disaster. Fed raises the rates a quarter. It never ends. By the way, folks, they keep saying they're doing that. The principle, the macroeconomic principle is that helps stem inflation. The reality of it is, it isn't changing anything inflation because the unique nature of why we have inflation with the supply line issues and everything else. Do you understand? I don't have a master in economics. I took economics at Covington Latin and Thomas More. Okay? And I read the Wall Street Journal. But what they're doing, see, the way these are supposed to be smart people. So what do we get now? We still have high inflation and we still have high interest rates. Makes no sense. These people don't realize that this traditional way of fighting inflation isn't working. January, you know what? NBC News reported that the feds could have stopped this from happening. And they didn't. You wonder, isn't it amazing, like Elon Musk said, hate to say it, but all these conspiracies are kind of true. Tom Brady retired, again, until somebody else calls him. We are ahead of a new sports show coming this week. We film at 5:45 a.m. on Monday, and it'll be ready to go for you every Monday morning, and we are going to have a blast. The sports show, we're working on a name. But by the way, I'm telling you, this is going to be the best sports show in the tri-state and in Kentucky and in Cincinnati. You're going to love it. Why? Because we can say what we want. McConnell retaliates against Rick Scott and Lee from Utah. Took him off the Commerce Committee, which makes no sense since Rick Scott ran a gigantic business. By the way, I have a business friend of mine from Louisville who did some dealings with Rick Scott. He says he has never met a smarter business person than Rick Scott. But he takes him off the Commerce Committee because he tried to take his job. Spending ceiling. They haven't worked it out yet. What a cluster mess. We deal with this spending ceiling. Why don't you cut? And remember, these budgets, where they're trying to work out the balanced budget and everything, all the BS. Remember, it's always we don't know if we're going to be able to make the budget balanced in 10 years. In other words, it has nothing to do with next year. This gobbledygook that they do, they're talking about, well, we won't be able to balance it in 10 years. Our country, folks, it's a cluster mess. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Have a great day. Ladies and gentlemen, the American Jury and Bulldog Nation, welcome to local regional news with Bulldog TV. As always, we're also sponsored by Deters Law and Parks Yoga. Folks, yesterday I had the honor and the privilege of going down to Lexington at the Griffin Gate and speaking to the annual Kentucky Judge Executive Association, and there was over 400 people there, magistrates and judge executives from all over the state of Kentucky, the 120 counties that were there, and I got to speak, and I got to speak for 6 minutes. We've posted the video, please check it out. But I was pleasantly surprised of the reaction. Of course, these are Democrats and Republicans, but I was pleasantly surprised at my response of my speech. I was just simply me, gave them hell, and it went over very, very well. I'm telling you, folks, I just know this. When people hear my message, they check out DetersForGovernor.com. They check out the Bulldog Show. They check me out. If they are undecided or impartial or soft, like Cameron supporters, I win them over. So the only way I'm not going to be your next governor and your Republican nominee is if people don't know about me. And guess what? That's easy to deal with. My opponents can't fix all their problems. I can fix mine. I just got to increase the recognition of me, which I'm in the process of doing. We sent out a mailer this week, and it's hitting the mailboxes. It takes a while for all week. It goes out at 17 different locations, 800,000 piece color card mailer. Half the budget of Cameron and Qualls. Sending a message. By the way, do you think that'll be covered by any of the state media? Hell no. Now let's get with the rest of the news. This is why I'm for the death penalty for these circumstances. A local Hamilton County couple have been charged with murder of the woman's 21-month-old toddler. Heidi Hamilton Smith and Rodney Williams face several disturbing charges in the child's death. The child arrived at the hospital on July 31st, was later pronounced dead from head trauma. Burned, optic nerve damage, liver laceration, bite marks, and rib fracture. It makes me want to cry. Can you imagine that child enduring that? Why do state legislatures, by the way, this is catching on. Guess who's jumping on? I've been speaking about this forever. Trump and DeSantis, I think they watch my show, have been talking about this now, recently. I've been talking about it for years. Why do we not have the death penalty for abuse? Should have death penalty. I hope Melissa Powers seeks the death penalty on this. Philadelphia Eagle offensive lineman Josh Sills has been indicted on charges from a case in Guernsey, Ohio. Sills was charged with rape and kidnapping for an incident that took place on December 5th, 2019. Sills is summoned to appear on court on February 16th, 4 days after the Super Bowl team's appearance. He's been put on leave. He's a rookie, not a main player of the team. You know, you're innocent until proven guilty. You have to admit, timing of this makes it a little suspicious. If he's guilty, let him rot in jail. All right, local news. Parents are still raising questions and concerns about a student who created a student hit list in 2021. The student's recently been allowed back into Conner High School, I've been following this, after an expulsion which has been controversial. Officials say they've done what the law requires by letting the expelled student back into class. I got to ask you this question, folks. How do you let any kid go back into school who has done that? It's outrageous to me. You have to protect the whole from that person. I mean, I don't care what the circumstances were, the excuses, the reasons, the context. Too dangerous, too wrong. And if the law's got to be changed, change the damn law. City of Independence, City Council of Independence is considering a change to the existing trailer RV camper parking ordinance. New proposed changes involving more strict policy on where recreational vehicles can be stored. More government, less freedom. City officials have opened up the Monday, February 6th meeting for further discussions. So in Independence, you own a home, you own a driveway, you own a yard, and you can't park your recreational vehicle? Come on. Too restrictive. Ohio-based Mike Sells has announced they'll close operations after more than 120 years of producing snacks and chips. The Dayton-based company is liquidating its assets and will transition the brand to another manufacturer. Operated since 1920. I have to tell you, folks, I did not like Mike Sells potato chips. Compare Mike Sells to Lay's. Sorry. Kentucky State news. Crazy story. A state fund set up to provide relief to Western Kentuckians affected by tornadoes is a distributional mess. You ready for this? Team Western Kentucky Tornado Relief Fund, started by Bashir, has issued more than 10,000 checks to Kentucky citizens. The problem is many of those checks were sent to people unaffected by tornadoes. The Kentucky treasurer had to cancel almost 200,000 in checks sent erroneously. By the way, good Kentuckians alerted him to this. Way to go, Andy. What a cluster mess of the tornado victims. And you know what I found out yesterday, folks? I found out yesterday from Allison Ball, who spoke, our treasurer, before I did. She said Kentucky has more money than they've ever had. More money than they've ever had. Then why haven't we taken care of the tornado victims and the flood victims? That's the first thing I said in my speech, if you noticed. By the way, it didn't go over the way I thought it would in the room, but I didn't care about the room. I care about what the people out there thought. Let me know what you think. Kentucky schools continue to face major teaching shortages, with teacher pay ranked 44th in the country. They face larger classes, more stress, less money. Kentucky's Education First plans to tackle it. Folks, plans to tackle it. Folks, Andy Bashir created a nursing shortage. He's helped create a teacher shortage. Political Munchausen. They create the problem and you ask them to solve it. It's unbelievable. Ohio State news. Ohio lawmakers we got some good stuff today, don't we? Ohio lawmakers are trying again to pass a bill that would extend working hours for 14 and 15-year-olds. Currently, teens are not allowed to work past 7 p.m. on weekdays, and some are pushing for 9 p.m. It's a different world, folks. The Ohio Restaurant Association believes a new bill will benefit local business and teen workers. Let it rip. Sports. Total Quality Logistics and University of Cincinnati have partnered for naming rights to UC's Nippert Stadium. TQL. Coming up next, World News with my main man, Spin, who's going to England next week and may do his show from England. If he doesn't, yours truly will be doing it. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Here comes Spin.
Happy Groundhog Day, Bulldog Nation. Today's world news. Ukraine's defense minister has said Russia is preparing a major offense and warned that it could begin as soon as February the 24th. The attack would mark Russia's Defender of the Fatherland Day on February the 23rd, which celebrates the army. Oil and gas shale giant has reported annual profits after energy prices surged last year following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Profits hit a staggering $539 billion. It's the highest in 115-year history. An Iranian couple who posted a video of them dancing at the Trans Freedom Tower has been sentenced to more than 10 years in prison. Unbelievable. The Bank of England is expected to announce another interest rate increase later today from 3.5% to 4%. The cost of living in the UK is at an all-time high in decades. And in sports, my favourite team, Manchester United, beat Nottingham Forest 5-0 on aggregate for a place in the Carabao Cup final at Wembley. They will meet Newcastle United later this month. I hope you all have a brilliant day. Until next time, take care. Cheers.